It goes 1 for the money, 2 for the show, 3 to get ready. Now here we go. All right, so today we are going to discuss Game Pass bricking consoles, and Xbox has said that they are not responsible. If your brand new Series X is bricked by Game Pass, Xbox is not responsible. So hold on to your hat as we dig into this. Hey, now this one's gonna be a little bit different. I'm gonna have to show y'all how to break these things down the way these Xbox do and how you arrive at these types of conclusions. Now, you need to stick around to the end because there will be a much better and a thorough explanation at the end. And if you leave the video before you hear the explanation at the end, then you're going to run around with misinformation. So make sure that you listen to the end of the video or skip to the end or whatever it is that you do. But make sure you check out this whole thing. Don't run off half-cocked. Okay, so we're going to look at the Microsoft Services Agreement, of which Game Pass is a service, and we'll show y'all that here in a little bit. And this services agreement is binding. So any Microsoft service that you use, including and especially Game Pass, Xbox Live, but especially Game Pass, is bound by these rules. You can see here, this document was published April 1st and it went into effect June 15th of this year. So a couple of months ago, these have been the rules for Game Pass and people using Game Pass. All right, so first we'll skip down here to the service availability. And you can see here, actually, let me zoom in on this a little bit. So you can see here, it says that the services, so Game Pass itself, any third-party apps or services, so the Microsoft services or third-party apps and services or material products offered through the services may be unavailable from time to time, which means you might be paying for this, but even though you're paying for it, you still might not have access to it from time to time. It may be offered for a limited time or may vary depending on your region or device. If you change the location associated with your Microsoft account, you may need to reacquire the material or applications that were available to you and paid for in your previous region. So here, section B, we strive to keep the services up and running. However, all online services suffer occasional disruptions and outages. Again, even if you're paying for it, it may go out. Microsoft is not liable for any disruption. So if your service goes out, they're not liable. Or if you suffer loss as a result. So if something happens and your console gets bricked and you suffering loss, they're not responsible. Right here, Microsoft is not liable for any disruption or loss. So your console gets bricked as a result, Microsoft is not responsible. If in the event of an outage, you may not be able to retrieve your content or data that you stored. Okay. We recommend that you regularly back up your content and data that you store on the services or store using third-party apps and services. So Microsoft is telling you they're not responsible for third-party stuff, they're not responsible for outages, and they're not responsible for disruption or loss that you may suffer. So if your console gets bricked, man, it's on you. Don't come to them. You use Game Pass, you may suffer, and as a result, Microsoft is not liable. So let's go back up to the top here. So now, we see that's their service availability to let you know if you got a disruption or an outage or the thing's not available, they're not responsible, so don't come crying to them. And well, let's look at these warranties. So let's go down here to the warranty section. And you see here, section 12, warranties. So Microsoft and our affiliates, resellers, distributors, and vendors make no warranties, none, express or implied, guarantees or conditions with respect to your use of Game Pass. The services here, that's Game Pass. You understand that use of the service is at your own risk and that we provide Game Pass on an as-is basis with all faults and as available. Okay? You are agreeing that Game Pass is given to you as is with all the faults that it has. That's it. You are agreeing to deal with it and it's as available. You bear the entire risk of using the service. If it bricks your console, too bad, you are bearing that entire risk. Microsoft is not going to cover that, so don't come asking them. Microsoft does not guarantee the accuracy or timeliness of Game Pass. To the extent permitted upon your local law, we exclude any implied warranties, which means we ain't covering jack. We do not guarantee the services will be uninterrupted, timely, secure, or error-free. So if some errors in the service that bricks your console, again, we not guaranteeing it, or that content loss won't occur. You not only could your console get bricked, you could actually lose content. So basically, you burn up. You acknowledge that this stuff is not fault-free, and it errors right here. It's not error-free, so you could end up having some error that bricks your brand new Xbox Series X. Microsoft is not responsible. Limitation of liability. Let's go here. What are they saying? Just in case the point wasn't clear to you before. So they saying, hey, if you have any basis for recovering damages, including breach of these terms, you agree that your exclusive remedy is to recover from Microsoft or any affiliates, resellers, distributor, third-party apps and services providers, and vendors direct damages up to an amount equal to your service fee for the month. You cannot recover any damages or losses. Again, all this is saying, if Xbox bricks your console or any third-party apps, so they telling you they're not responsible for third parties right here. They're not responsible for any resellers, distributors, none of that stuff. If something bricks your console, Microsoft is not responsible. You on your own with these third-party apps and services, vendors, and you can't recover any damages or losses. Most you can get is 1 month of Game Pass. That's it. So $15 where I'm at for Ultimate. Well, I pay with all Microsoft points, so I'm not sure what they would give me. Probably the Microsoft rewards equivalent of $15. I don't know. But it's clear here that you can't recover any damages or losses. Nothing. These limitations and exclusions apply even if this remedy doesn't fully compensate you for any losses or fails. So, I mean, clearly here, if your console is bricked and Game Pass has the ability to break your console, if it does, then look here, man, it's just bricked and you SOL. Don't come crying to Microsoft because you have agreed to all of this stuff. The most you can get back is $10. Well, if the services are free, which Game Pass is not, so you can get either the $10 fee back from Microsoft, or you can get the $15 fee if you pay for Ultimate. And that's it. They are not responsible. You can't recover any other damages or losses other than that fee. That's it. And up here, they done already told you that you agreed to this service as is with all faults, and you bear the entire risk of using the service. That's it. Microsoft is not guaranteeing any of this stuff at all. So don't ask them. Don't come crawling to them. None of that. You know right now that if Microsoft is aware that Game Pass is bricking your console, you will not be compensated. And it's really a shame. Like, it is so consumer unfriendly for them to hide in their terms, hide it away. Here in this document, they changed all of this stuff here. And effective since June 15th, Game Pass can brick your console and you have no recourse with Microsoft other than maybe getting your Game Pass feedback from them. But your console is burnt up and it's just a horrible situation. It is so consumer unfriendly. I just don't even know what to say about this. Like, people really should be outraged. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Okay, so clearly anybody with any ounce of sense can easily see that the way I'm reading this is silly. Microsoft, yes, they're talking about damage. Yes, they're talking about loss. Yes, they're talking about what they're liable for, what they're not liable for. But nowhere in there did they say if this bricks your console. And the category of damage and loss that they were talking about was not your Series X being destroyed. Right? They're just letting you know we're not responsible for third-party apps or services. We're just not. We're not responsible for internet disruptions or any of that stuff. And if you suffer loss, we're not responsible because we don't control those things. It's just the nature of the internet. And we're especially not responsible for no third parties, no vendors, no distributors, or none of that stuff. If you have an issue with third party, you got to take it up with them. Okay, well, why did I read this in this silly way, right? Like, why did I go through all the effort of twisting this into some dumb statement against Microsoft and Game Pass bricking your consoles and Microsoft not being responsible? Well, it's an example of bot brain and how bot brain works. So here's this statement from Sony that caused a whole lot of stir, and you got all of these bots running around all over YouTube and Twitter talking about if the SSD is going to brick your console, and if it does, Sony is not responsible, and it's a huge loss, a huge risk, right? Same sentence right here, same sentence structure. You should carefully review drive specifications prior to purchase and contact a vendor or manufacturer if you need further information. Sony Interactive Entertainment cannot guarantee that all M.2 SSD drives meeting the described specifications will work with your console. They might not work. We can't guarantee that. And we assume no responsibility for the selection, performance, or use of third-party products. So what they say, we are not responsible for what you select. We are not responsible for how that thing performs. And of course, we're not responsible for you using any third-party products. If you use a third-party product and it malfunctions, you got to go see them, not us. It's not our responsibility. But the Xbox turned this into, well, hey, we don't assume no responsibility for the selection, performance, or use of third-party products if it bricks your PS5. That's the way they read it, right? Like, that's the sleight of hand. They add that little if it bricks your PS5, which is not there, right? Like, it's clearly not talking about bricking a PS5. Again, it's the same example. If I buy a third-party controller and the third-party controller does not work, they are not responsible for that selection, how it performs, or me using third-party products. That's my decision, and that's an agreement between me and the third party that I have to take up with them. If I buy a charging stand for my DualSense that's not for Sony and it doesn't perform the way that I want, or I made a bad selection, it's not up to Sony to deal with that. That's up to me to deal with that with the third party, right? But bot brain turns this into brick your console. And so I just decided to go ahead and read the Microsoft sentences the same way. Brick your console. I can add brick your console anywhere they're talking about loss, the same way that the bot brain tries to insert brick your console here. At the end of the day, there is no cooling issue on the PlayStation 5. Sony did not say if you have a problem with a drive and it bricks your console that they won't cover it. The console's under warranty. It should be. Nobody's had them for a year yet, so they're definitely still under warranty. If there's a problem with your console, Sony absolutely positively will cover that console. But the funny thing is, these things can't brick your console. Like an SSD expansion cannot brick your console. This is so stupid listening to these people. And I went to the Xbox Insider website, right? Like, and I have tons of examples of people's Xboxes being bricked on the Insider program and what they have to do to get it resolved, and if they can get it restored themselves, or do they have to send it to Microsoft. So we have actual consoles being bricked by the Microsoft beta program, although they call it the Insider program, but it's the exact same thing. And they have the same disclaimers. Look, man, we're not responsible for third-party stuff. But of course, these bots, they need a distraction. PlayStation is doing so well, and the games are so glorious that these bots, they have to come up with a distraction, because Xbox is getting dog mopped out here by the PS5. So they're going to do anything they can, right, to try to create a distraction, to try to spread fear, uncertainty, and doubt like they need it. That's all they got, because they can't have no conversation about no games. They can't have no conversation about no data flow. They can't have no conversation about no sales. They can't have no conversation about new IPs. They can't have no conversation about Game of the Year winners and contenders. All they can do is create a distraction and cry. And for those that, don't have enough understanding to see through the fog and the smoke, that's what I'm here for. So come check your boy out, man. Leave a like on the video, all of that good stuff. Man, we got information for you. We're going to keep the pathway clear so everybody can see clearly what's going on around here. We're not falling for that bot brain stuff around these parts. PlayStation needs a hero. PlayStation has a hero out in these gaming streets. Now, PlayStation don't need no hero in the boardroom, in the marketing room, in the media, none of that stuff. They got all that stuff covered. But out here in these gaming streets, they need a hero. And that's what your boy is here for. We're going to handle that business, man. We're going to keep the pathway clear. We're going to keep information flowing accurately and freely. And we will defeat the bot brain. Rest assured, we're not going nowhere. We're here to stay. All right, that's it. So that's how you give a bot a taste of their own medicine. Now, clearly, come on, man. Stop it. So we just going to leave it at that. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave your boy a like. I appreciate it. If you're enjoying the content at the channel, go ahead and subscribe. I keep telling you, we got more coming for you. We need a PlayStation hero out in these gaming streets, man. I'm sick of this trash from these pesky bots. Also, let's keep the conversation going on Twitter, man. Y'all know where to find me. Reach out. You got something to say, go ahead and comment. We can keep the conversation going in the comments. We can keep the conversation going on Twitter. Like wherever it is, y'all know how to reach your boy on all my little social media places. I am there. Y'all know where to find me. I'm not difficult to locate. Tell me how you feel if you got any disagreements, or let me know that you feeling where I'm coming from and that the content is right up your alley. All right, y'all. We'll see you next time. Peace.